Antigone was born into a world of tragedy. Her father Oedipus was infamous for unknowingly fulfilling a prophecy that would see him kill his own father and marry his mother, Jocasta. Jocasta either later became his wife or sometimes he married Eurygania. Antigone had 3 siblings, her brothers Polynices, Eteocles, and her sister Ismene. Despite the unfortunate circumstances of her family, Antigone was named after a noble sentiment. Her name meant, worthy of one's parents or, in place of one's parents, just like the masculine version Antigonus. Antigone later became the protagonist in the tragic play Antigone, written by Sophocles. In this eponymous play, Antigone was depicted as a brave and strong-willed woman, who dared to challenge authority to fulfill her moral obligations. Her character was central to the 3 5th century BC tragic plays written by Sophocles, known as the 3 Theban plays. In Antigone's story, her brother Polynices had been declared a traitor by the new Theban ruler Creon after a battle against his own city, where both he and his brother Eteocles had died. Despite the king's orders that the traitor's body be left unburied, Antigone was determined to give her brother a proper funeral. In the end, Antigone's actions lead to her tragic end as she chose to obey the divine laws instead of the laws of men, leading to her death. This theme of individual conscience versus state law continues to inspire modern-day audiences as it explores the human struggle in making moral decisions. Antigone's story teaches us to value truth, to stand for justice, and to be willing to face the consequences of upholding our convictions. On her way back, Antigone runs into a group of robbers who try to attack her. She manages to fend them off with a sword she had obtained from Theseus. However, during the scuffle, the robbers notice that Antigone is carrying gold with her and they launch an even more aggressive attack. Desperate to escape, Antigone leaps off a cliff into the sea below. She miraculously survives the fall and is washed up on the shore of a foreign land. There, she is taken in by a kindly family who nurse her back to health. But Antigone cannot forget her family and her duty to Thebes. She decides to return and face the consequences of her defiance against Creon's rule. Upon arriving in Thebes, Antigone is arrested and sentenced to death. Despite her tragic end, Antigone's bravery and loyalty to her family have made her a timeless figure in Greek mythology. Her story serves as a reminder of the importance of standing up for what you believe in, even if it means facing dire consequences. Antigone, the sister of Polynices, stood alone before the mighty king Creon and defied his orders. She knew that what she was about to do would risk her own life, but she felt that her brother's honor and dignity were more important. She was determined to bury Polynices properly, despite the king's decree that his body was to be left unburied as a symbol of his betrayal. Antigone's courage and determination soon became clear to all. She snuck into the city by nightfall and prepared the body of her brother for burial. When the guards discovered her, they immediately took her to Creon. At first, Antigone didn't back down when she was confronted by King Creon about her blatant disregard for his orders. She spoke eloquently and passionately about her brother's right to a proper burial, stating that divine law should always be held above human law in situations like this. The king, however, refused to budge. He was angry about Antigone's insolence and he condemned her to death. Even his own son, Haman, begged the king to reconsider and warned him that his decision would bring disaster upon the city. Antigone's resolve didn't waver even when faced with death. She was brave enough to face her punishment with dignity and courage, despite her youth. Her story continues to be a reminder of the power of a single person's conviction and how it can cause ripple effects throughout the world. Antigone, a brave and loyal Greek mythological figure, was known for her incredible courage when it came to protecting her family. She is famous for disobeying the law of her uncle Creon, by giving her brother Polynices a proper burial. However, this act of defiance ultimately led to her tragic end. Throughout history, Antigone's story has been depicted in various art forms, including ancient paintings and sarcophagi. Interestingly, in a version of the legend by Hyginus, Antigone's fate takes a different twist. After she defies Creon's orders, Antigone is secretly carried off by her lover, Haman, who rescues her from the execution her uncle ordered. Together, they bear a son, Maeon, who later attends some funeral games in Thebes where he is recognized by a mark on his body. The discovery of this mark leads to the realization that Antigone is still alive, but unfortunately, her intercessor, Heracles, was unable to secure forgiveness from Creon. In a tragic ending, Haman kills both Antigone and himself, unable to bear the thought of living without her. Despite the different outcomes in Antigone's story, one thing remains clear. Her story serves as a reminder of the importance of family bonds, loyalty, and the ultimate price of standing up for one's beliefs.